and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Impact Wrestling history with match number 46 on our list, which is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship King of the Mountain match between the champion, Ron the Truth Killings, and his four challengers of Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, Chris Harris, and Raven. This match was from the June 2nd, 2004 episode of NWA-TNA. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the King of the Mountain match, it is a TNA original. It's basically a reverse ladder match, which is kind of strange. So instead of trying to pull down a championship belt, you have to carry the championship belt to the top of the ladder and hang it on the hook. There is a twist in there that there's a penalty box at ringside. So to be able to hang the championship, you have to become eligible by pinning or causing another wrestler in the match to submit. Once you get a fall over an opponent, you are then eligible to hang the title, but the person that was pinned has to go into the penalty box for 2 minutes. So it kind of creates this like strategy to the match. It's a little hokey and convoluted, but you know what in TNA isn't, but in a weird way it kind of works. Now, this match is probably the only match on this countdown that I didn't originally see when it happened. You know, you can tell by these videos so far I was a very big TNA fan. At the end of 2003, start of 2004, I did start to fall out of love with the promotion a little bit. It just became, you know, too reliant on the Vince Russo, Jeff Jarrett stuff. I'd had enough of it through 2003 that by the end I'd watch the occasional pay-per-view that had, you know, like a good X Division match on it, but for the most part, my fandom was kind of falling by the wayside. It would pick back up though in you know, the summer of 2004, leading into the company having a fantastic 2005. But anyways, when this match happened, I was kind of, you know, not really watching on a weekly basis. I did not order this weekly pay-per-view, and somehow this match had just always passed me by until now. For the project, though, I basically watched everything TNA. So they're actually, all things considered, the build to this match wasn't too bad. So Chris Harris was a member of the America's Most Wanted tag team with James Storm. We will talk about them on more than a few occasions throughout this countdown, I'm sure. But when James Storm fell victim to an injury, Chris Harris was given a singles push by TNA. They strapped a rocket to him. And it seemed like he was destined to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from Jeff Jarrett. He himself had a more minor injury prior to them. You know, they were supposed to have a cage match for the title. AJ Styles was instead inserted into that cage match. He ended up beating Jarrett for the title, which was a pretty great moment. That was a match I actually watched at the time. That was one of the pay-per-views that I ordered. From there, though, they kind of had this multi-person feud with Harris and AJ and Ron Killings and Raven, where they were kind of feuding over the title and the #1 contendership. Right before this King of the Mountain match happening, Ron Killings actually won the title in a 4-way match from AJ. That was kind of surprising at the time. I certainly didn't expect him to win the NWA title once again. He was kind of, you know, in the 3 Live crew with Conan and Road Dogg, you know, almost more of like a comedy act sort of guy, but they put the belt back on him, and that led to the King of the Mountain match. Now this match, you know, it does have its Russo involvement. He's the keeper of the title, so he would hand the wrestlers the championship before they would climb the ladder to hang it. But thankfully, they kept his actual involvement and shenanigans to a minimum. There's one spot where him and Jarrett have a little tug-of-war after the belt, but aside from that, it wasn't too bad. This match, though, is the AJ Styles show. AJ Styles, like 2002 onward, was just an absolute lunatic bump machine, and that is fully on display here. The match starts with a great big brawl, and a couple of minutes in, he just hits an absolutely insane, very Taka Michinoku-esque spaceman, but with a somersault. So just, you know, runs, leaps up to the top rope with no hands, and does a somersault dive to the floor, but with the catch being that he does it over the penalty box. It was absolutely crazy. The dude is just an athletic freak. He hit that, and something I thought was really clever, Jeff Jarrett kind of managed to avoid it a little bit and started trying to cover everybody on the floor to get him into the penalty box and to get eligibility for the title. I thought that was really smart. They did a couple of cool little things in this match. There was a point where both Jarrett and Raven were in the penalty box together, and being the two heels in the match at the time, they decided to have a quick little, chat and decide that they were going to work together. And Raven was great, telling the cameraman to get out of there when he was trying to put the camera in the penalty box and whatnot. In contrast to that, though, there was another point where Raven and Chris Harris were in the penalty box at the same time. Raven tried the same thing, and Chris Harris just beat the tar out of him inside this confined space. So it was kind of cool. AJ takes another just absolutely ludicrous bump in this match where Raven and Jeff Jarrett are working together, and AJ's lying across a ladder, and they both pick up a side of the ladder and dump it over the top rope to the floor, and AJ just free falls down on top of this ladder to the arena floor. It was brutal. And he somehow outdoes himself again as we roll into the finish of this match, where he's climbing a ladder and the ladder gets tipped, and he actually takes a bump falling off the ladder, going face first off the penalty box and kind of falling between the penalty box and the ropes. It was nasty. Again, AJ Styles at this point just untouchable with some of the stuff that he would take. The end of this match, though, after that bump happens to AJ, Chris Harris and Raven both fall off the ladder, each through their own table. And then there's a callback to Jeff Jarrett initially winning the NWA title from Ron Killings in the fall of 2002, where Killings is climbing the ladder, seems like he's going to get it. Jarrett hits him with the guitar and grabs the belt, or hangs the belt rather, and becomes the NWA champion once again. When this match happens, I considered trying to hunt it down. I was really disappointed that Jeff Jarrett was the champion once again. I was mad when he won the title back from AJ at the end of 2003. I was, happy when AJ won it back, and I was mad again when Jarrett won it here. But 17 years removed from all of this, I've let it go. I'm able to finally watch and appreciate this match. The King of the Mountain was an innovative concept. It's something that TNA did sort of do to death. I'm not a fan of matches not being announced organically. I hate the idea of a match having to happen once a year outside of something like the Royal Rumble. I'm not a fan of WWE, having themed pay-per-views. I think, feuds and rivalries should build to these matches. So that's what happened here with the initial King of the Mountain. It was something that TNA kept bringing back year after year after year after year to mixed results. But it is, a very cool concept for a match that they were able to pull off. And the first one is one of the best. It was excellent. You can watch this match, of course, on Impact Plus. You can follow me here on YouTube by subscribing to the channel. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.